What's up, NBA fans, and welcome to another episode of the NBA Fast Break Podcast. I am Brandon Brown, joined again by Ben Stinar, and we're going to talk. I guess you have to call them the hottest team in the NBA right now. For a minute there, Ben, the hottest team in the NBA was my young Detroit Pistons. Maybe not anymore. They've lost, I think, maybe one or two. But I think the hottest team in the NBA right now has to be the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James, Luka Doncic. They've now won 7 in a row. And I think you told me that Luka was – I played in six of the 7, I think, that they've won here recently, even though he was part of the team going back to early February. And they've won 13 of 15. So even before Luka got there, they were playing pretty well. But you make a huge blockbuster trade. You send Anthony Davis to the Mavericks. Now you have Luka there. And, Luka and LeBron have been kind of a two-man show for the better part of these 6 or 7 games. How hot are the Lakers? How good are they right now? How good can they continue to be? I mean, it's the Lake Show, man. Everybody wants to know what's going on with Luka, LeBron, and the Lakers.
Yeah, Brandon, definitely the hottest team in the NBA, longest winning streak at 7 in a row. I really think that this trade is showing you how smart of a basketball player LeBron is. I think we touched on that last time, how he can just do kind of anything on the floor, right? It's almost like Luka has rejuvenated LeBron into, I feel like the last few games, we've seen a better LeBron than we did 2-3 years ago. I mean, that's the kind of LeBron we're seeing right now. And I think, not to tie it back to the Warriors at all, but I think if you compare Jimmy and you compare Luka to what they've done to their teams, I think we got to wonder, hey, why didn't the Warriors or Lakers 5 years ago go get someone that could take a load off of LeBron or Steph? This is the first time we've seen them have a load off their shoulder. LeBron can just kind of be like, you know what? If I don't have it this possession, I got another monster over there. Mm-hmm. Steph.
Yeah, I mean, I know Steph, post-game interview last night, he was just so complimentary when it comes to talking about Jimmy Butler and he's right. Was he rocking the gray braids right now? I was like, all right, anyway. I get too distracted when I watch stuff like that, I guess. But you're right. I mean, LeBron, he's still just so good, but he's been old for 5 years. Like, we could say that, right? Like, why not do, like you said, why not do something like this earlier? Or was it, were they thinking that the LeBron and Anthony Davis thing was eventually just going to be too much for others to handle? I mean, I know AD kind of always is battling injury a little bit here and there, but it does, like, I don't remember what it looked like when AD and LeBron first linked up, but you're right. I think the rejuvenation that LeBron seems to be showing right now is very, very noticeable. And I don't know if it was like that when AD and him joined forces. I guess just, what is it about Luka? Is it because they're more similar? Is it because they can, feed off each other a little bit more on the perimeter? Because you're right. I think it does look and feel different.
I used to have a thing where I think it was really it was a fun thing for fans and stuff when you would trade for. You'd have 2 guards, right? An all-star point guard, all-star shooting guard. Mm-hmm. But over time, we've seen that doesn't work. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum. I used to be a big Nets fan. Darren Williams, Joe Johnson. It sounds good on paper, right? But Trey and DeJounte, that didn't work. Mm-hmm. I think we're seeing a new breed of NBA where it's 2 forwards or 2 point forwards. Think about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, right? Mm-hmm. LeBron and Luka are basically that in their own way, right? Like their own version of that. And so I think what we're seeing here is we're seeing this kind of version of like the big duo, right? Like they're not, because AD doesn't bring the ball up, right?
Right.
It's kind of where it's not a your turn, my turn, because Luka can actually, LeBron can play big. Luka can play big if he wants. Mm-hmm. 2 guards can't do that. Damian Lillard can't do that. So I think we're just seeing this new weird. I don't want to say weird. I actually really like it. This new, this unique kind of double point forward situation in the NBA.
I don't disagree with the theory or what you're saying, but is this just like LeBron and Luka they're just so good. They're just so good. I mean, like they can do anything and everything on the court. They both have that size. Obviously, LeBron, early part of his career was just, arguably the best athlete in the NBA. That certainly has slowed down a little bit for him. But he can, like you said, they can both post up. They can both isolate on the perimeter. They can both shoot the 3. They can both get to the basket. There's really nothing that they can't do. And I would think that is there even another pair out there besides LeBron and Luka that you could put on the same team that might be able to do the same thing? I think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are pretty close, but I still think LeBron and Luka are more versatile than even those 2 guys.
Yeah, well, for sure. They got more talent for sure. I think that the question is going to be, because you look at the Celtics, they're loaded with depth. I think the question is going to be, in these playoffs, can Dorian Finney-Smith go off for 15 points one night? Can Jackson Hayes do what he did last night? Mm-hmm. Can somebody, Rui Hachimura, score 12 points when it matters in the third quarter? That's what you're going to need. Austin Reeves, his health will be big. But I think you're correct. LeBron and Luka, talent-wise, are above it all. But I think we're starting to see this new forward, kind of big forward, big guard kind of thing. You look at Shea and Chet and Evan Mobley's worked well with the Cavs. This kind of just this situation. I think LeBron and Luka are the epitome of that, right? They're the cream of the crop of that.
Yeah, I don't know if you could recreate that anywhere else in the NBA. Shea would I'd probably be in that discussion, being as tall as he is and kind of being able to do
with
everything.
Chet as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting. The NBA is cyclical. You go through these different, it used to be like the time of the bigs, and then it was like you had to have a superstar scorer or point guard to go with your big, and then it was kind of like the big three where you had a little bit of everything, and now maybe we're moving into this like 6'8" versatile. Give me two of those guys, and let's see how it looks. That's a pretty interesting theory.
Think about what Cooper Flag is.
For sure, yeah, for sure. A little 6'10" can do it all. Put him inside, put him outside, and just let him go to work. Paolo Banchero would be kind of in that mold as well. Cade Cunningham, my guy again over there in Detroit.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. These guys who are really making waves in the NBA. I want to ask you about if there is a downside to Luka, and everybody it's his defense. LeBron's not the player he once was when it comes to being quick on his feet and lateral and, guarding on the perimeter. He is such a freak show, though, because, he really hasn't dropped off. Like, he'll do a dunk or two a game where you're like, he looks 25. Like, that's unbelievable, some of the stuff he does. But he's not the same player he was 10 or 15 years ago. There's no doubt when it comes to his raw athleticism and his speed. And Luka, it seems like every time a team comes down, whoever Luka's guarding, that's who they try to get the ball to if that person has any isolation skills whatsoever. What about the defensive side of things for Luka and just what that means in the playoffs when you face a team, 5, 6, 7 times in a row?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that defense in the NBA kind of is interesting to me. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, nobody plays defense, but they do play defense. But it's just a weird topic a lot of times, right? I think if the Lakers get out of the first round, I think the Lakers on their first round, right? Like they could do a lot, right? I think if the Lakers get out of the first round, you're going to have to, every game they win after that, you're going to have to start giving credit to JJ Redick, right? Because I think Redick's the one who's going to build this defense, and he's done such a great job already. It's just kind of building a scheme, right? I think it's going to be more scheme-based than anything because, like you said, LeBron's 40, Luka's not great on defense, but he's a big body.
He's big.
As long as he's not like puffing and puffing on the other end, people just blow by him. He's a big dude. So I think it's going to go down to JJ Redick. I think if the Lakers make a deep run, great question, because I think you're going to point to JJ Redick's defense.
The Lakers have won 7 in a row. I believe I just did a quick count. I think they have 22 regular season games left. So every team, in that probably 20 to 25 games left. What's the expectation for the Lakers now at this point, where they sit in the Western Conference standings, which is currently 2, which is, I don't know if anybody thought they would be there. Of course, people probably didn't think this Luka Doncic trade was going to happen either. So how good are the Lakers overall? How good can they be down the stretch? And ultimately, how dangerous are they in the playoffs with those two guys running the show?
I think, Brandon, I think they're very dangerous. I think that they could really, really make a run just strictly off of, like I said, the JJ Redick defense will be an X factor. But I think just off of, like you were talking about, Luka and LeBron isn't anyone as talented as them, off an intimidation factor. I mean, if you're one of these young teams in the West, like the Rockets or the Grizzlies, I don't know how you're going to fare against Luka and LeBron in the playoff series. Even the Thunder, I'm scared to say it, but even the Thunder, I don't know how they would fare against Luka and LeBron in the playoffs, because you got that other monster now. So it's like Luka can take. I don't care if they're 10-point underdogs in a game. Luka's that kind of wild card that can just kind of break all the systems down, right? Like he can if he goes to 40, what are you going to do, right? 40 and 12, what are you going to do? So I think that my answer is the Lakers can reach the Western Conference Finals. And I do think if that Redick defense, and they can really, really show that they're an elite, like they've been elite on defense for a few weeks, but if they can beat an elite defensive team, they're stealing his championship now. But I would like to see them reach the Western Conference Finals at the minimum. Yeah,
Western Conference Finals against the Thunder, the Nuggets. And once you get past those two, it's like a Luka and LeBron maybe against over the rest of the field. Honestly, Grizzlies, Rockets. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
You got Warriors and stuff, and now Jimmy. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, man, what a trade. And now, man, the poor Mavericks too. I know we talked about the Mavericks before, the way that this thing has played out with now Kyrie being done for the season and AD. I mean, you shut AD down at this point. I mean, why even put him back out there?
That's what Shaq said last night. So I think
yeah.
spot on.
So, yeah, man. How about that? Lakers have won 7 in a row, 20-plus games left to go. Ben Steiner thinks, Western Conference Finals at least for the Lake Show, Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Again, he is Ben Steiner. I am Brandon Brown. Keep it locked on NBA Fast Break on SI for all breaking news. Ben is, again, a machine when it comes to cranking out content. I don't know, 20, 30 things a day. I don't know how you do it, but he does it, man. He's an expert. Ben, thanks so much for the time, man.